Intellipath grading. That one's always a little bit different because we're using an algorithm. You are always welcome to ask more questions about that, and I will direct you to other people because I'm not so great with algorithms in terms of explaining them to anyone. But if that is something you like to explore, please don't hesitate to ask. So as you go through Intellipath, one thing that we say is to complete all of those lessons. Well, activities completed is that amount of knowledge you've covered. So in this case, if there are 23 lessons and you have completed 8 of them, you'll start to see this circle fill up. So you may see, say, a 95 beside it, which is a great score. But when that transfers to the course gradebook, it will be lower because that 95 would be talking about those 8 lessons. But see all the circle we haven't filled? That's going to be factored in when the grade is imported to the classroom shell. So watch for those kinds of numbers as well. Completing 100% of the lessons, that's our first goal because that immediately gives us a good percentage. So we're going to look at that picture. Completing all of those activities is going to give us 40%, even if we did them all really badly, which I have yet to see a student do. You'll surprise yourself with all the stuff that you know. But completing them is going to be that 40%. Mastery is 55%. So that's why we talk about leaving those green ones because you've done a great job. It's up here. And that any of those red and yellow that are down here, you can increase them. Remember that 5% is improvement. So imagine being perfect at something. I know there are topics you are perfect at that you know everything about. Well, you can't really improve necessarily. So 95% of the grade is you, everything that you're bringing to it. You're completing it, you understand it. And that 5% is part of that algorithm. And so we need to look at 95 as what we control and what we can reach, and anything over 95 as a wonderful addition to the table. When we look at this idea of mastery, that lets us know how much knowledge we have for a particular lesson. Even though we talk about that completing all the lessons part, what we're looking at after completing all those lessons is reviewing red, and then orange, and then yellow. Again, remember that all of these should work together for every single class. You're building on your knowledge, and so we will keep exploring ideas in multiple directions and ways so that you get stronger and stronger with that material. So as you go through, don't just pause at a red one and redo it over and over to get the color you want. Instead, complete all the lessons in that particular unit and then go back to those red and then orange and then yellow. It is the strongest way that we have found. As I do say, there are best practices that may be a little bit different for an individual, but it's something to think about as you go through it, that perhaps we're going to cover it in a way that will make more sense or will add more details that are going to click with you. That's always a good thing, and it's something that we talk about not just for our class, but for any class really, or any time that you're taking an exam. Those same ideas apply. Finally, revising. Your grade is never final. If you want to come back to Unit 1 when we are finishing up Unit 5 on the very last day of class, you are welcome to do that. It is completely okay. Anytime that you want to, go back to any unit, look at those lessons, pick those red ones and then those orange ones and those yellow ones to revise. As you find that revise button, you can also look for the review button. A revise button means that it will zero out the score and let us start all over afresh. However, the review button means we just get to read it and explore it one more time. So I hope you'll continue to explore and learn all about Intellipath as we do it, and make sure you're watching for those little red circles on the bell because it means you have messages within Intellipath. So if you've sent me a question or an instructor a question, or if I've sent you a note about different ideas or supports, that's where it's going to be.